What is up, hobby friends? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I paint these awesome rock formations. If you want to find out how to make them, I'll include a link in the description below. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be priming this piece of terrain with my airbrush. Now, because this is styrofoam, we can't use aerosol or rattle can primers to prime. So instead, I'll be using Vallejo's surface primer. I'm going to be using black for the base coat and then gray for my Zenithal highlight. Once we've done our Zenithal Prime, we're going to be using a medium brown to base coat all over the model, ensuring to keep our shadows super dark. Now you can use any brown for this, but I'm going to be using Scale Colors Chink Orange. On top of this, we're going to follow up with a highlight of a lighter brown, almost an orangey tone. I'm using Scale Colors Peanut Butter for this. Once that's dry, we're going to then hit up the shadows with a deep red or brown color. I am using Vallejo's Burnt Red for this. Now, where the highlights were focusing primarily on the mid and top of the model, I'm going to be spraying all of this dark red shadow tone from underneath. What this will allow me to do is preserve all of my highlights and the color of the rocks while really deepening the shadows and taking advantage of the Zenithal Prime that we applied at the very beginning. Now you can see with the turning piece mounted, I'm simply spraying or airbrushing the model from the bottom, or a bottom angle pointing upwards, and this allows me to maintain and keep those highlights and midtones. Once I'm done with the shadows, I'm going to go back in with my bright highlight color and just touch up some of my highlights and brighten up some spots that end up being a little too dark for my liking. Once the paints are dry, we're going to go back in with some oil washes to really deepen and refine some of our shadows and just to reinforce some of our rock cuts. So to do this, I'm going to be using a dark brown and a burnt umber oil paint, heavily diluted with mineral spirits. We're just going to mix those very, very thoroughly and then apply them liberally in a wash over the entire model, letting the capillary action pull the paint and the color into the recesses. You can see the wash is also helping to tie in all of our colors and create a unified tone over the entire rock piece. And continue with this wash over the entire model, making sure to apply it to all of our deepest shadows and recessed areas. Once we're done applying this wash, be sure to set this entire thing aside to dry for a couple of days, as oil paints do take a long time to dry. Once the oil paints are dry, we're going to go back in with some weathering powders and pigments to really just add the final touch. Now for this, I'm going to be using Vallejo's Burnt Umber weathering powder. And really, I'm just going to be using a dry brush, and to focus this on sort of the bottom of the model, or the bottom half of the model, really where the ground dust is being kicked up and caked onto the rock. I'm being very liberal when I apply this, although I really am trying to focus this heavily in some of the deeper crevices and cuts in the rock to punch up that color. As I move up on the rock terrain piece, I'm applying less and less, focusing only on the deepest shadows and helping to create that transition or fade. Once we're done applying the weathering powders, we're just going to apply a couple of spritz of mineral spirits to help fix the powders onto the model. I'm using a spray applicator with my mineral spirits loaded in, and I'm just lightly dusting it over the model. I'm going to set this aside to dry overnight to let the mineral spirits fully evaporate, and that's it. Our rock terrain piece fully finished. As you can see, this technique is super simple and very easy to get done for the tabletop very, very quickly. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome weekly content, and to follow my Instagram at SirJohnTheHo for daily updates on my hobby projects. Until next time, happy hobbying.